Hey, y'all. Today you have of course, it's Matt Rogers on the Honorable Mention podcast. Before we get to our guest, the voice of the Philadelphia Phillies and Eagles in Spanish, Mr. Oscar Budejen. How are you doing today, sir?
Matt, how you doing, man? Pleasure to be here with you once again.
Absolutely.
Exciting day.
Very exciting day. Timestamp for the people. The Phillies last evening put away at least one of the wild card spots. Now we haven't yet clinched.
We clinched
number
it.
one.
The Cubs lost, so we clinched the number one spot. So we're going to be playing at home next Tuesday.
Oh, beautiful. Red October the 3rd. Very good, sir. So we've got our 3-0 Eagles. We've got the playoff-bound Phillies. Of the wild card teams, you said the Cubs lost. Are you more worried about playing the Diamondbacks, the Cubs, or the Marlins if they still make it? Who are you? Any of those teams really? The reason for the Phillies to be nervous?
Playing at home. I mean, last year, remember going to St. Louis. There was a lot of, playing the Cardinals and with Pujols and with Goldschmidt and Arenado. Look, at the end of the day, it's pitching. Pitching makes a difference in the postseason. We have both Wheeler and now Nola at the right moment. They are the best points in their season. Nola have had 2 outstanding starts, and Wheeler has been pitching lights out since the All-Star break. And look, I think pitching at the end of the day is going to make a huge difference. Look at the role. I was kidding yesterday in the clubhouse under the champagne and all that. I had Nola and Wheeler next to each other, and Christopher Sanchez was next to them. And I told them, this is my MVP. Christopher Sanchez, what a beautiful job he has done for this team. He has the best ERA in our staff. Yes. He comes from 2 starts with 10 strikeouts. The kid is amazing. And I told them, they were all laughing when I told them, here's my MVP, Christopher Sanchez. It's look, it's next man up. They gave him an opportunity. The kid had not done well the last 2 years, and he developed, a very, very nasty, filthy changeup. And he's striking out people in and out. And we have Kirkering coming in a couple of days ago and showing his stuff.
Look good.
Lorenzen coming as a closer. Everything is coming together at the right time.
Taijuan Walker could do a lot of middle relief once we get to late in the playoffs. Taijuan Walker, the Phillies, I don't know what it is because it's not always pretty. He may give up a few runs in an inning, shut guys down. He's a workhorse, but the Phillies win when Taijuan Walker is pitching.
Yeah, there is some 15 wins. They are not kidding. But at the end of the day, it's going to go on the shoulders of Wheeler and Nola. And the other huge guy that is coming up after 2 times going in the DL is Alvarado. Alvarado's cutter is falling for strikes. And with Alvarado's sinker and his cutter in the strike zone, that guy's unhittable.
Yes,
and
he
you've
is.
seen it. He closed the game. He pitched the 9th inning yesterday. Got a save an earlier. He is, lights out. And look, this team is getting ready, and I feel it. Having a guy like Turner, an MVP caliber player like Turner, and what he has done since August 3rd, the fans are something out of this world. Phillies fans are the best, and Philly fans, what can I tell you, man? It's we bring it every time, and look, it's very, very special time of the year. And the Eagles, just think for a second. People need to stand up, sit down, and listen. 20-1 during the regular season for Jalen Hurts. 20-1.
It's incredible.
That is unheard of. It's incredible. It's just it's the right to live. It's the right time to live in Philly.
It's that works out, percentage wise over like 96%. Come on, guys.
He's a winner. He is a winner. He might not have he might not have played the best. By the way, I saw the second half. he played much better against Tampa than he did the first two games. And
Yes.
I began to
It's just the
see,
2 picks. The
yeah,
stat line doesn't look as good as he actually played at all.
yeah, but one was miscommunication. The other one was a
Yes.
tremendous play by the safety. Look,
Absolutely.
Jalen is fine.
Absolutely.
Jalen would be,
Yes.
I mean, by the end of the year, he's going to be fighting for that MVP. And I'm telling you, there are good things happening in Philly. Good
There
things
are
are
good
happening in
things
Philly.
And of course, thinking back to the Phils, and we'll of course get to the Birds later. But for the Phillies to do what they need to do, everybody's expecting that they're going to have to go through Atlanta. I'm feeling more confident than ever that the Phillies can take the Braves just like last year. And I looked up the stats to kind of to see, okay, like, because the Phillies looked like towards the end of the year, every game ended up being pretty close, except for, an outlier here or there. The Phillies are 8-5 against the Braves this year. Last year, they were 11-8. So they won 38% of their games this year against the Braves and 42% last year. In terms of runs, the Phillies have scored 58 runs to the Braves, 74 runs against them. I'm not really, especially because I watched this team, a team again who I told you earlier, Oscar, I think was a worse team. The 2022 Phillies are not as good of talented a team. I feel so much more confident. Am I, kind of prisoner of the moment, or are you feeling the same way that we really can, beat the Braves?
Look, it's all about momentum. And the Braves have suffered two important losses to their pitching staff over the last couple of weeks. Number one, Max Fried had a blister in his finger, so he's in the DL right now. He probably will come out of the DL, but he's going to come from not pitching every 5 days, so that's going to impact him. And then the other thing, they announced Morton has an inflammation on one of his fingers, and he's not going to be pitching in the first part of the playoffs. So if we face them, the way everything dictates that we're going to be facing them, because we're the number one wild card and they're going to be number one. We're going to be playing in Atlanta. Hopefully after beating whomever team comes to Philly, we're going to be playing in Atlanta. Now, Strider is a big time pitcher. I mean, Strider is one of the best pitchers. He has dominated us. Yeah, he's filthy. So we're probably going to have to face him probably twice. To win this series. But look, we Wheeler on the mound. I mean, we Ranger Suarez, which is he doesn't have any fear in him. I mean, he doesn't have any blood. I don't think any blood, no blood goes through his veins. I mean, that dude, is a big time pitcher. I mean, look, this team is special. I mean, and the other thing, I remember during the middle of the season where we were not hitting home runs. We were 20th in home runs. We're now up to 9th. We over the last month we have hit as many home runs
in the league
as the Braves.
Right? Yes,
the Braves and us were right there. So the lineup is coming up. Harper's power has come back. You see Castellanos having an unbelievable season. I was reading yesterday 106 RBIs. I said Castellanos with 106 RBIs. That is insane. It's incredible. He leads the team in RBIs, and he's hitting 7th. How about that? He's hitting.
I like him at 7th. I like him at 7th. I think it's like insurance because, on a lot of teams, especially non-playoff teams, and no disrespect to Nick, because I think, he was our only all-star on the offensive side. So he's a good player. But in this lineup, he can extend a rally and make the Phillies, if the Phillies get hot, if they get on one of these scorchers like we've seen, you could bat around with a guy like Castellanos. Castellanos come up, Stott get up ahead of him, Bohm get on ahead of him, and you're in big trouble. And if the Phillies jump on the Braves early in any of those games, it's probably going to be the Phillies' game to win.
Look, it's not going to be easy. Okay, the Braves are a hitting machine. This is the nastiest lineup there's in baseball. Acuna at the top of the order.
Yes.
The guy has, the guy is out of this world. You see the number of home runs, the number of stolen bases, how it's kind of their engine. Then you have Albies. A second baseman he has more than 35 home runs. More than 100 RBIs. This Olsen hitting more than 50 home runs. this is a very, very strong lineup. I mean, the best lineup in all of baseball.
Absolutely.
Now, I do believe that pitching wins in the postseason. I do
Yes.
believe that our staff is better equipped than their staff to take over. When you look at the number 1 to number 13th pitcher, look at Iglesias. Look at what Harper and Turner has done to Iglesias, their closer. I mean, when this guy is going to be closing and Turner and Harper are coming up to bat, I mean, I'm telling you, Harper is like, 6 out of 10 out of this guy with 5 home runs. I mean, and Turner has, I think, 4 or 5 home runs against him. I mean, it's not going to be easy for the Braves.
No.
Pitching wins in the postseason. So everything will dictate. I mean, if we win the first 2 games, God willing, we win the first 2 games of the wild card, probably Ranger will open the first game against Strider. I mean, in Atlanta. It's going to be very, very interesting. Anything could happen. The other thing, one beautiful thing we did last year is we won the first games of every one of those series.
Yep.
Against Atlanta, against St. Louis,
even Houston,
against Houston. I mean, with a home run by Romuto. I'll tell you a funny story about Romuto and his home run in a second. But I mean, so getting ahead, it's critically important. So against Atlanta, that first game is going to be very, very important. But again, we need to come out with a split. Out of Atlanta, we need to come out with a split.
Yes.
And probably my guess is that the first game is going to be Ranger, and the second game, I mean, if we are able to win the 2 wildcard games, it's going to be probably Wheeler in that second game. So it'll be very, very interesting. The story on Romuto, game 1 of the World Series, they put us on the side because there were so many people in the press box. So the Houston Spanish team is on our left side. We're on our right-hand side. We're there behind home plate, but because there was not enough booth for like the ESPNs of this world, I mean, the national broadcast, so they put us on the side and they put us next to the fans. So the fans are just in front of us. So we're not like in the above the fans. We're at the same level with the fans. So I could extend, I mean, fans are passing just in front of us, I mean, in the game. So do you imagine we tie the game against Verlander and the Houston Astros, and I am broadcasting the game, and I go with my Campanazo call with the Romuto home run. Every single Houston fan turned around and said, "What in the world is going on here?"
So good. What a moment for you.
Look, it was a tremendous moment. It was it was an incredible experience there. When the fans are coming out, they're coming out toward us and they're mad at us. They push my computer out of the way. I mean, they were not happy fans down in Houston when they hear the Campanazo call.
Well, the other people further north were.
Absolutely. But it was funny. I mean, everybody turned around as they wanted to go after me, man, big time. So it was funny.
So let's go to the other side of Pattison. The Eagles are disappointing 3-0, and coming back to play the Commanders the 1:00 game. Any thoughts on trap game or anything like that? I haven't heard that quite yet, but I'm surprised I haven't. But are you buying that at all?
No, I mean, look, the reality is, I mean, we know the history of kind of runner-ups at the Super Bowl and not being able to make it back to the Super Bowl. This team is special. I mean, this team has, if not the best, one of the best rosters in all football. When you look at the 49ers, are really good as well. Mm-hmm. But they don't have the quarterback. They don't have a Jalen Hurts. And at the end, I mean, just like pitching wins in baseball, quarterbacks take over during kind of the playoff runs and the Super Bowl in the NFL, and we have one of the best. I mean, Jalen is a very, very special talent. He's a winner. First and foremost, he's a winner. He finds a ways to win. Jalen has not played like he played last year at his MVP type of form. He came runner-up to Mahomes, but he has that special way of winning in the big moments. And now I'll tell you this, I am so impressed with the roster that how we have built.
Yes.
I mean, getting Jalen Carter, I'm telling you, I said this before the season started. Jalen Carter in 2 or 3 years is going to be the best defensive player in all football. Oof. That dude, I mean, the combination of Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis, I mean, is 700 pounds in the middle of that line. That line cannot be run. I mean, to me,
700 pounds of violence, because they are violent, strong, big men.
Power. I mean, look, those guys are going to be unstoppable. Fletcher Cox is rejuvenated and playing at a huge high level. And just think of this. The engines of both Reddick and Sweat, which are tremendous ends, they haven't started yet. And Brandon Graham on the other end. That line is like unbelievable. And on the other end, you have our offensive line, by the way. They gave all the time in the world, 7 seconds to Jalen to throw that pass to Zacchaeus. I mean, 7 seconds. I mean, I was just watching at the line, and when I was commenting and doing the analysis of it, I said, look, the reason we scored a touchdown is called that offensive line. They were incredible. And let's be clear.
7 seconds is unheard of. I mean, that's just crazy.
I mean,
7
when you
seconds
look at
to sit back there,
it's incredible. I mean, and when you look at our total yards, our total yards, we had 472 yards of offense, even though, in my opinion, we are not playing in full cylinder.
No way.
We're not. That offense is not playing full cylinders. Jalen Hurts. I heard that he had the flu on Monday, but beyond that is 472 yards of offense. I mean, and look, we came out of the first 2 games winning. I thought we deserved to win the game on Monday. And look, it was a great team win. And look, this team is going to be very hard to stop. They're using Swift in a very smart way. He's not a bell cow that you can run every down with him. So what you do is you need to pick your spots. So the combination of game, I would like to see Rashard Penny playing a little bit more.
Me too.
He brings a different element that this team doesn't have.
Absolutely. Yes.
Running between the tackles and particularly in the goal line. I mean, again, the push, great, fantastic. But if you're in the 3rd or 4th yard line, you got to give that ball to a guy.
Yes.
We were talking
hammer
about
it in there. Yes.
Yeah. We just need that the blunt, Lagarde blunt that we had a few years back. That you give the ball to that dude, and he's going to run through people. So we're missing that on this offense. That will help a lot. But I'm telling you, the talent on the offense and you saw what Brown did, AJ Brown did on Monday. I mean, 131 yards. I mean, you have on the other side, Devonta Smith being one of the best route runners in all of football. You have Dallas Goedert kind of as a blanket. I mean, that does a tremendous job both on the run game. I mean, and then on the defensive side, I mean, that line, my goodness. And by the way, Blankenship, what a smart that guy. I mean, is going to.
He's playing at a Pro Bowl level right now through 3 games.
People didn't know about him because he comes from Middle Tennessee State. I mean, that guy made so many tackles in Middle Tennessee State, and you could see it taking off. I mean, health is going to be the key to this team. If this team is healthy, I see us going back to the Super Bowl. I mean, it's going to be look what Dallas did on the weekend. I mean, against the Cardinals. They lost to the Cardinals. I mean,
I never took Dallas seriously. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, the only time I'm going to probably thank Gannon for.
Absolutely, and Kaiser White.
Yeah, and Kaiser White. I mean, they did their job against the Cowboys. Thank you very much. But beyond that, the 49ers are for real. I mean, the Hargrave in that line. I mean, they're playing at a very, very elite level. That is a really, really, really good team. And with McCaffrey,
it's a two-horse race. It's a two-horse race for the NFC.
But the key is health. Health will dictate our ability to go to the Super Bowl again.
Yes, absolutely. So the Birds are 8-point favorites Monday Night Football. You thinking they cover that?
I mean, absolutely. I don't see. I mean, their defensive line. I mean, it's their strong suit. A lot of Alabama players there. I mean, playing. I mean, you have Young on one of the ends coming back from injury after kind of a year and a half off. I mean,
Yep. Young.
their line is very, very good. But I mean, the Eagles are going to run all over them. I mean, again, I mean, they're unstoppable. I mean, this team is really, really good. I mean,
So you feeling really
look, 472 yards against one of the best defenses football. And again, if you remember last year when we ran in the playoff over the defense of the 49ers,
yes.
Nobody had run over the 49ers.
No.
We had four touchdowns against them on the ground. I mean, nobody had run against that
Miles
defense.
Sanders ran in for 2 untouched.
Exactly.
Like
and
15 yards
defense
away.
and the Tampa Bay defense was number 2 after the Eagles in terms of run defense. So look,
wow,
we have 2 very, very good teams that are going to put us to a smile in this postseason. The Phillies first, and the Eagles. I'm very, very excited about what we got going in both of those teams. Broad Street. So you start Broad Street.
Yes,
Let's
exactly.
Go.
I don't know if they might need to get nets instead of, because the grease on the poles isn't working. So maybe we need to like deploy some nets in case of emergencies on the poles, because it's just a staple of being a Philadelphia sports now, that that people are going to get up on the poles.
Look, if we're able to beat Atlanta in that series, I mean, LA is facing most probably the Milwaukee Brewers. The Milwaukee Brewers are a very, very scary team. I mean, they
Corbin
have
Barnes,
Woodruff. They have Peralta. I mean, they have some superb pitching, and they came to Citizens Bank Park and beat us 2 out of 3.
Yes.
Look, you gotta. I mean, and that's one thing I love about Rob Thompson. It's about the next game. It's not about if we're going to be beating the Braves or the Dodgers or the Brewers or whomever we're going to. It's about, winning that game.
You can't control the other things yet.
Yeah.
You can only control
winning. I mean, that's one thing about both Thompson and Sirianni that do. Sirianni is about what's going to happen against the Washington Commanders, and Thompson is about winning. I remember being in the elevator with Thompson during the playoff run. We were in San Diego. And I said 4 more wins. I think we had 1 more win or a couple more wins to go. And I said 6 more wins to him in the elevator. And I think it was Alvarado in the elevator and somebody else. And he said, no, it's about tomorrow. It's about winning tomorrow. So it's absolutely true. I mean, it's about winning the next game and forget about the journey. We're on a journey, but it's about the next game. And that's one thing I love about those guys. So.
That's awesome. So, score prediction. You're feeling really confident about the Eagles for Monday Night Football. Let's hear it. What do you think?
I haven't thought too much about that one, but I would say it's gonna be, I don't know, 28-17, maybe. Not even that.
Okay.
I mean, look, it might be 14. I mean, 28-14, something like that. I mean, I haven't even thought about it, but that's. I flew from Tampa yesterday got into Citizens Bank Park at 5:00 and ready to go at 6:40. I mean, so
you're a machine. We're so thankful. Yes,
it's a fun. I mean, it's a fun time. I mean, this is when everything merges: my work, the Phillies, the Eagles. But it's super fun. I mean, it's the best time of the year. What can you say?
It is. It is.
It's the best time of the year, and there's nothing better than winning. So we got 2 winning teams here. I mean, hopefully the Sixers. I don't know we need some magic one with the Sixers. I mean, the Flyers are too far away. But
I don't know the Sixers. It's like Mariah Carey, the Mariah Carey GIF. I don't know her.
It's a shame. I mean, we got Joel Embiid. I mean, probably if not the best, one of the top 3 players in the planet. I mean,
no question.
And the NBA, you don't require as many players as you do in baseball or football to win. So, I mean, hopefully there's some magic one, and I don't know, we can get Lillard here or something like that, and we start getting somebody together with Embiid, and and the rest of the gang, and Maxi and the rest of the gang, so we can do some magic there. But look, Phillies and Eagles, let's
Yes.
go.
Let's
We're
get
ready
back
to
to
go.
happy times.
Red
We brought
October.
up the bad. We brought up the.
Look, it's Red October. Let's go. We're in October. I mean, we're in
Yes.
September. We're getting to October, and the magic is about to happen. So
Let's go through some of the other week 4 games. The slate we got. The Lions are 1.5-point favorites at Green Bay. Who do you think winning?
I think the
that
Lions.
one?
I think the Lions' offense is. I mean, Green Bay was lucky this weekend. I mean, winning that game at the last minute, 18-17. I think the Lions have a very strong offense now. The loss of CJ Gardner Johnson, is going to be. He's going to have a huge impact on them. I mean,
Yes.
he's truly we're missing that guy. I mean, you imagine Blankenship with that guy in the backfield in that safety. I mean, but you know what? It is what it is. He's I think lost for the season or lost for a big part of the year. So they're going to miss him on defense. But I mean, the Lions are probably going to win that game.
Wow. Okay. In Green Bay on Thursday Night Football. That's going to be a good one.
Well, the other thing is you Thursday nights are so tough for the players. I mean, because they cannot plan. I mean, a lot of walkthroughs, and you're just following, and it's about talent, right? The Detroit defense is offense is really, really good, and I mean they have some nice pass rushers. So I think Detroit should win that game.
Well, the Dolphins, who just hung 70 on the on the Broncos, are underdogs, 2.5-point dogs in Buffalo. What do you think about that one?
That is a tough game. That is a tough game. After putting 70 points, I think Miami is going to go into Bill Mafia or Bill Mania time. The Mafia is probably. I think the Bills are probably going to win that game, and it's more because of momentum. I mean, putting 70 points and just being on a high and playing in Buffalo, I have a feeling that the Bills could come big in that game and win that game. It's not going to be easy. Look, that's a very, very difficult game because you don't know what Miami game is going to show up.
That's right.
Tua does it. He has tremendous touch. I mean, he completes such a high percentage of his passes. McDaniel, I mean, offense is filthy. I mean, that is a bad dude. I mean,
yes, he is.
It's just their running backs. I think it's 8 touchdowns. I mean, that is insane. 8 touchdowns with their 2 running backs. I mean, just to think about that.
That's disrespectful.
It's disrespectful. But I think the Bills are. Look, I think it's going to be a tight game, like playoff atmosphere, and I just have a hunch that the Bills are going to pull it off.
Interesting. Broncos somebody's got to win this game. Broncos are 3.5-point favorites against the Bears. Both of these teams are a little bit of a mess.
The Bears, they look more like teddy bears. I mean, it's they're not putting a fight. I mean. I think Denver is going to win that game.
Somebody's got to win.
They have more experience. I mean, you got Russell Wilson there. I mean, I think they probably should win. I mean, they should win that game.
The Broncos certainly should be better.
In Chicago, right? They're playing in Chicago.
They're playing in Chicago, but if they can't win this game, they're pretty much on the early part of the season getting the answer. Like, we are not a playoff team.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Cincinnati. They walked over the week. I mean, they have lost the first 2 games. I said, there's no way Cincinnati is losing another game. I mean, they cannot lose a 3rd game. If they go on 3, they're not making the playoffs. And they're too talented not to make the playoffs. Yeah,
they're in big trouble. Broncos are and Russell Wilson. I mean, it's incredible what has
Who's favoring in that game?
The Broncos by 3.5.
Yeah, I think the Broncos win that game. I just think it's talent, momentum. Chicago, I mean, the Bears look absolutely devastated, and Justin Fields hasn't come up to play the way he needs to play. And everybody thought this year, wow, Justin Fields is going to be the next Jalen Hurts. Well, you got to prove it. But Jalen
got to do it.
Jalen is a winner. 20-1 in regular season games. My God, incredible.
It is incredible. Patriots are 7-point underdogs at Dallas. Dallas comes back home after their big disappointing loss to play Belichick and the Patriots. Who you got in that one?
Let's go Belichick. Let's go. Let's pull the upset.
I feel good about Belichick in this one. I think I feel really good. I mean, because Belichick played Jalen Hurts and the Eagles really well in Week 1 with the 25-20 loss.
Yeah, their offense is a disaster. Yeah. I mean, their offense is as bad as they come. I think Dallas is going to win this game. I mean, because they don't win the game, they kick them out of Texas. I mean, that's the bottom line. I hope Belichick pull his magic wand and the defense beat Dallas, but I don't see them losing in Dallas. So I think it's the Cowboys are going to win that game. Unfortunately, we'll see. We'll see because Belichick has been known to pull a rabbit out of the hat defensively. He offense, like you're right. Sometimes I don't know what's happening. Mac Jones. I mean, I just don't see it. I mean, he did it. I mean, he did it. What happened? He cannot pass beyond 10 yards. I mean, if you're a quarterback and you cannot pass above 10 yards, I mean, you're in trouble in this league. I mean, and look, they're going to rush him and they're going to go all over him. So,
yeah. That from that perspective, if Dallas is able to score off of their defense or get 3 or 4 2-3 turnovers, then I
mean, I don't think their defense is really, really strong. I mean, despite losing Diggs, I mean, their defense is, I mean, their line is filthy. I mean, it's probably, I wouldn't say as good as the Eagles, but they're like second or third in the league. I mean, in terms of how much pressure they put in there. I mean, and look, I think it's going to be Dallas winning that game. I'm telling you, if they not, they kick them out of Texas. I mean, they're not playing this game in Texas. Jerry Jones, you're fired.
Yes. Yeah. The Seahawks travel to New Jersey, but it's MetLife Stadium. The Giants.
That's a tough game. That is a tough game. I mean, I think Seattle has a better roster, but which Seattle team is going to come out there is going to be the key. I mean, that is a pick to me. That's a pretty even game. Who's favored there in that game?
Giants by 1.5. They usually give you the 3 for being at home, but I guess they're only giving them 1.5.
I think that game could go either way. I mean, I mean, it's a very, very. I mean, if Barkley comes back, I think the Giants have a chance to win that game. If he doesn't, they're going to lose the game. But if he comes back, I think that's the key that will decide if the Giants will win this game or not. Barkley coming back.
Emerging NFL star Kenneth Walker III. Start watching out for him. He's a baller. He's one of those guys that next year in NFL fantasy drafts is going to be starting to go in the 10 to 15 range at least.
I agree. They have a good running team. I mean, together with Lockett and Metcalf. I mean, they're a scary team. I had when the schedule came out, I had the Eagles losing in Seattle to them. I mean, but hey, I don't. Anything is possible. I mean, it's like
next game, as Rob Thompson says.
And as I told you before, health is going to be the key. I mean, the fact that we had 22 starters at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
That is ridiculous. I mean, that is absolutely amazing. And I mean,
again unheard of.
Yeah, we lost Avante Maddox for the year. I mean, he's a big loss, and now
he is a big. I mean, loss.
we're playing Bradbury Moore slot, so I mean the slot cornerback. So it'll be very, very interesting. And Jove has done a very good job in the outside. I mean, so he's a very aggressive cornerback. So I like the fact that we're beginning to groom kind of the next generation, and particularly on cornerback, because both Slay and Bradbury, they're up there in age. So we need that next group to come up, and having Job there and getting good reps is going to be very, very important for the Eagles moving forward.
Yeah, Jeffrey Lurie's thinking of Bobby Taylor and Troy Vincent, handing off the baton to Lito and Sheldon and those guys.
We need. I mean, they're very on Ringo, and we got a very good of talent. We got the talent there. They just, I mean, cornerback is such a difficult position to play in
It is.
football because
It
the
is.
wide receiver dictates what's going to happen and together
Yep.
with the offense. So it's a very, very difficult. It's one of the most difficult positions to play in football.
You can play cornerback very well and still get beat for 150 yards if you're lined up across from the right guy or the
You
wrong
can be
guy.
the fastest guy. You can be the fastest cornerback and catch up. But I mean, if you don't know how to play man and press, and I mean now press. I mean, playing in the line and pressing those wide receivers to avoid getting off quickly and giving the time to the line. One of the beauties of us is the line. The defensive line is so good. And I mean, we are a defensive lineman. I can just picture Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. I mean, running all over people. I mean, I was interviewing in the locker room Jordan Davis. He's like 3 bodyguards. I mean, he's so big. My goodness, it's incredible. I mean, he's like 3. A nightclub, outside nightclub, having 3 bodyguards.
Yes,
I
the
mean,
bouncer.
that's the size of
Yeah,
that guy.
that's right.
Yeah, nobody's passing through that guy. I mean.
Well, Oscar, so before I let you go, how do you think that the Phillies are going to finish up these last few games? They've got a couple. I think they still have games left against the Pirates. They also have to finish off against the Mets. Do you think that they kind of let their foot off the gas a little bit, let guys get healthy, feel good, or do they kind of just try to ride a wave into the postseason?
Well, I mean, you don't have as many players on the bench anymore, but I see Stops playing more for Ramuto. Ramuto might catch a few innings and Stops come in. I see maybe getting Stott off his feet. I mean, Harper. I mean, look, you gotta. And that's one thing you see on the Braves. The Braves are playing with their regular lineup every night because he doesn't want to lose the momentum. They know that if he takes them out of the lineup, I mean, they're not going to be ready. So I think they're going to play, but they're not going to play as many games. So you're going to see a few more days for the regular players. And then with the pitching, I see Ranger pitching tonight. He might be a game 3. I mean, Ranger can come out of the bullpen. That's
Yes.
another thing that we need to. I mean,
yeah.
Ranger has that level of flexibility. I think we're much deeper in the bullpen than we were before. I mean, unfortunately, Sir Anthony has not pitched up to the capabilities of Sir Anthony.
But and Soto is a big question mark for me.
Yeah, Soto is a question mark, but you have Alvarado. I mean, Wheeler yesterday, Kimbrough allowed a home run yesterday. To one of the young guys of the Pirates. I mean, he has not been as strong in the second half as he was in the first half of the season. I want to see Kerkering. I mean, I truly want to see that kid pitching. I mean, he doesn't pitch in back-to-back games, so I want to see Kerkering pitching. By the way, I do believe Kerkering is the future closer of this team. I mean, between him and Alvarado, those 2 guys are going to be unhittable, man. It's just the slider of Kerkering. I mean, I've never seen a pitch move that way. I mean, I'm telling you, the way that ball falls. I mean, on a slider, it's insane. So I do believe that he's probably going to be the closer of the future for this team. I mean, together with Alvarado and like what he does. If it's a righty 8th inning, he's going to go with the righty. If it's a lefty, he's going to be lefty. Look, I believe we have enough depth. It's going to be very interesting what he does with the bullpen. I mean, bullpen is the big question mark right now that we need to get ready. And Hoffman have proven to be a very reliable. I mean, to me, Hoffman and Christopher Sanchez are the 2 kind of young players of the year for us. I mean, they both have done an impressive job. And look, we just need to get that bullpen ready. And he's going to allow Sir Anthony to pitch. He's going to allow Lorenzen to pitch. I mean, Lorenzen did an outstanding job. I mean, against the Mets 2 days ago. So it's going to be very, very interesting. But look, I think we have enough depth. It's just tuning up the pieces. It's going to be interesting because Wheeler day is Thursday. So Wheeler, how many 8 pitches is Wheeler going to pitch? Getting him ready for game 1 on Tuesday is going to be very interesting what he does. So he's just going to keep them as fresh as possible, maybe with 60, 70 pitches and then get them out. But the most important thing is that we get ready for that Tuesday game, Tuesday, Wednesday, and try to win those first 2 games so we can go to Atlanta.
Red October, get ready, y'all. Oscar,
bags are ready.
Thank you so much.
The bags are ready. We're ready to go.
Oscar, always great having you. Look forward to great times ahead. Hopefully have you back during the run.
Thank you, Matt. Let's go.